Today, we're diving into the fascinating 40-year career of Keith DeCesare, a man whose work sits right at the intersection of art, environmentalism, and artificial intelligence. It's this incredible story about how passions that seem totally separate can actually come together to form one single, powerful mission. So let's get into it.
So this is how DeCesare actually describes himself. I mean, look at that. It's not just a job title, right? It's more like a collection of identities. Each one represents a really distinct chapter of his work, and when you put them all together, they paint this amazing picture of someone who just refuses to be put in a box. It really sets the stage for the journey we're about to take.
And that really brings us to the big question for today, doesn't it? How can one person's work possibly bridge the gap between these things? You might be thinking, how on earth do those connect? And, at first glance, it seems impossible. But as we're going to see, there's a really powerful thread that ties them all together. And it all starts at a moment of profound crisis. To understand how this all fits, we've got to start in New York City, right in the immediate aftermath of the September 11th attacks. I mean, think about it. It was a time when the city was just reeling, searching for any way to process this immense trauma and find some kind of path toward healing. And this is where DeCesare really stepped up as a humanitarian artist. He founded ArtAID. And this wasn't some gallery project. This was a raw, on-the-ground response to a community in deep pain, using art as a fundamental tool for connection and for solace.
And we're not talking about something abstract here. The action was so direct, so profound. Just think about this. He was there volunteering for 6 months at Ground Zero, installing the very first memorials for the victims, and using this heartfelt guerrilla-style outreach to connect with people. The impact was so significant that his work is now preserved as part of our national history.
And this motto, art in service of humanity, I mean, that just says it all, doesn't it? It's such a simple idea, but it's incredibly powerful. That the highest purpose of art is to serve people, especially when they need it the most. And this philosophy of service, that's a key we're going to see again and again.
Okay, so now the story takes a turn. We're staying in New York City, but we're shifting gears from the steel and dust of Ground Zero to something way more organic. The focus now turns to environmental conservation.
When you picture New York City, what comes to mind? Skyscrapers, right? A concrete jungle. Not exactly a haven for endangered species. And that's what makes this next part so wild, so remarkable. Right there in northern Manhattan, DeCesare created this little pocket of wilderness, a micro-sanctuary dedicated to life. So, flash forward to 2015. That's when he founded the Inwood Butterfly Sanctuary. This really kicked off a whole new chapter of his community work, but this time the focus was on healing not just people, but the planet itself. And the sanctuary's mission, it's not just one thing. It's got so many layers. Of course, it's about protecting the endangered monarch butterfly, but it's also about giving inner-city kids hands-on nature learning. And, get this, he initiated a project called Wings of Hope that starts to blend generative AI with art. See? There's that first little hint of that third pillar starting to pop up. And just like with ArtAID, the motto here tells you everything you need to know. It reveals this deeply personal and dedicated approach. It's not some grand plan to solve the entire crisis overnight. No, it's about making a real, tangible difference. One butterfly, one child, one life at a time.
All right, so that brings us to the most recent phase of DeCesare's work, where technology really takes center stage. But even though we're diving headfirst into tech, you're going to see that same core mission of service and empowerment is still the driving force. The tools are just different.
So he's pioneering this really cool approach called generative learning. Now, this is not about sticking kids in front of screens and replacing teachers. Not at all. It's about totally reframing AI as a creative partner for students, something they can actually collaborate with to build and explore ideas in completely new ways.
And there it is again, that theme of service. It just keeps coming back. You see, his AI curriculum, it's not just about teaching tech for tech's sake. It's a social mission. It's all about making sure that as AI becomes a bigger and bigger part of our world, kids in underserved communities don't get left behind. It's about equity.
I absolutely love this metaphor he uses. He calls AI an exoskeleton for the mind. It just perfectly captures the whole idea, right? AI isn't there to replace our own strength, but to amplify it, allowing both students and teachers to achieve things they just couldn't before.
Okay, So his curriculum, which is called iGentix, is built on three main pillars. It's not enough to just use the tech. You've got to know how to talk to it. That's prompt engineering. You need digital fluency to see how it fits into the bigger picture. And, this is the big one, you need to think critically about how to use it responsibly and ethically. These are the skills of the future, for sure.
Okay, so let's recap. We've got art for healing, we've got urban conservation, and now AI education. I mean, these feel like three totally different worlds, right? So what's the glue? What's the one idea that brings all of this together?
Well, it all comes down to something called the Bauhaus philosophy. Basically, it's this belief that art, craft, and technology shouldn't live in separate boxes. They should be combined to actually serve society and solve real-world problems. And DeCesare's work is totally rooted in this.
And when you look at it that way, it all just clicks. Think about it. ArtAID, that used art and community outreach, you could call that craft, to tackle a huge social problem. The Butterfly Sanctuary, it uses ecological science, a form of technology, and hands-on gardening to meet environmental and educational needs. And iGentix uses AI to address the digital divide. It's all one mission, just viewed through different lenses.
And here's the kicker. The whole point of bringing in all this technology isn't to make us more like machines. It's the exact opposite. It's to make us more human. Every single project, from the art to the AI, is all about building up these core human skills: creativity, ethical judgment, critical thinking, the very things we're going to need most in an AI-powered world.
This quote from DeCesare really ties it all together beautifully. You can hear it in his words. It's a commitment not just to a single project, but to this ongoing cycle of empowering the next generation so that they, in turn, can prosper and heal our world.
And that really leaves us with a big question to chew on. His story is proof that even the most seemingly disconnected passions, art, nature, tech, can be woven together into something incredibly powerful and meaningful. So it makes you wonder, right? In this new age of intelligent machines, what could we each build if we brought our own unique passions together? What kind of convergence is just waiting for us to discover?